Christmas spice banana muffins with cranberries and walnuts in it. And then we are going to make some gnocchi pasta with a pumpkin parmesan cream, a sagey pumpkin parmesan cream sauce, and some fried chicken cutlets on top with it. So kind of yummy, delicious, homesome thing. But let's start with getting our banana muffins going. So I've got 3 really ripe bananas that we're gonna put in here and we'll kind of smash up. So I always like to give them a little, beginner smash in their, peel. I was gonna say wrapper, but bananas don't have wrappers. Just the way my mind works. It just helps it, makes it a little bit easier to smash up. Make sure your bananas are nice and ripe on here. We're making these, Teddy really, really wanted banana muffins today. And because he looked at them, because he wanted to eat one of these bananas. And I was like, oh, buddy, these bananas aren't good for eating. They're from baking now. And he was like, banana muffins. And I was like, I can make banana muffins. Kid loves them. But I figured we'll do something a little fun with them. Add some nice spice to it because my kids love a nice spiced banana muffin. And then I was like, ooh, cranberries and walnuts with it. Actually works, I think, really well. So we've got our bananas in here. Before we add our sugar in here, we're just going to mash it up. So just take a fork and just go through it, or you could use like a hand mixer and kind of beat it. But they need to be ripe or you're gonna have really like chunky banana muffins that won't have a strong banana flavor. So we'll do a little pre-mashing here just to get any of the big kind of chunks out. And then we're gonna add in 1 cup of brown sugar. And that's gonna give these a really nice kind of rich flavor to them, which is gonna pair well with the kind of Christmassy spices that we're gonna be putting in. So this is a 1/2 cup, so we'll do 2 of these, pack it down.
You had a question? How was the pork belly?
Oh, it was so good. And the thing that actually I thought was so crazy about it is both my husband and I, my husband told me it was probably the best meal that I had made all year. So that was kind of a nice little thing, but none of our kids liked it. They were like, there's too many vegetables. And I was like, it's a tiny salad. You guys can live with it. And then my daughter, my 2 daughters just do not like any type of fat on their meat or whatsoever. So with pork belly, it is a fattier cut of meat, but it had such a good crispy shell on it. And I mean, I will say my daughter, my oldest one, she complained about it, but she ate it all. So I just think she could have also been one of her complaining moods. But my 10-year-old didn't like it, but I have to say, she doesn't like 90% of the food I make, so maybe I shouldn't even take that. Teddy ate it, Jack ate it, Torrin ate it, but he said it wasn't his favorite. Mainly because I didn't have hummus for the naan, which I was like, okay, I will remember to buy hummus so that they can dip their hummus in the naan. They did not want to eat it the way I suggested as my little pocket sandwich, but it was so good. It was definitely like, I think we're definitely going to repeat it again. I'll just make it as a lunch when they're not here because they're just crazy. It was so good. And it was so funny because once I got that pork belly out of the oven last night, my dogs went crazy as if they were gonna get pork belly. They were just like, you couldn't, I don't want to see it, but they were like running around my feet like, oh, we got a treat, we got a treat. Okay, we've got our cup of brown sugar mixed in with our 3 smashed bananas. We're gonna add in a 1/4 cup of melted butter, which is 4 tablespoons. There we go. So we're gonna mix this here. And then we're gonna add in 2 eggs. So we've got 1 and 2. We're gonna pop these yolks real quick. And we're gonna mix them into our sugar, banana, and butter mixture. And just kind of cream those eggs in there. Here. There. And I think we're about to have Chef Teddy join us. Did you kind of escape from nap, Teddy? Mm-hmm. Are you boycotting it today? I told you he really wanted these banana muffins. Well, come over here, buddy. We're making it so you can kind of help us. Okay. So we've got our there goes the wall. Got my helper. Here we go, Chef Teddy. Okay, we are going to add in a 1/2 cup of our sourdough discard in here. So let me grab a measurement, but you can stir a little if you want to, Teddy. Good job. You love that. You love helping me cook. Told you he's been very, oh yeah, loves that. He loves tasting. So we're gonna add a 1/2 cup of our sourdough discard. It can be active or not. I fed mine up this morning. Again, I'm trying to rebuild it after giving away some starter. Here we go. We'll mix that in. We'll just put it right over here. We've got ours. Thank you. So 1/2 cup of our discard in here. You want to mix that up, buddy? And then while you mix that up, we're going to get in some of our spices here. Where did I put it?
I know.
Is it over here? It is. Silly me. We're going to do our baking soda first. We're going to do a whole teaspoon of baking soda. And a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now, if you use unsalted butter, you might want to use a pinch more. And then we're going to do a tablespoon of cinnamon. Cinnamon, buddy. You can keep stirring for me?
Yeah.
Good job. So a tablespoon of cinnamon. And then I have nutmeg, allspice, and cloves. And we're going to use about a 1/2 teaspoon of each one. You could also add in ginger if you wanted to, but I'm keeping the ginger out. So it's got more of a nicer little vibe. Actually, with the nutmeg, we're going to do a 1/4 teaspoon because nutmeg has a good kick to it. So we'll do a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg.
Around it.
Yes, you're going to mix it all the way around for me.
Yeah, make it gooder.
Oh, so good. And then we're going to add in a 1/2 teaspoon of cloves. That cloves are going to give you that nice like Christmas taste to it. And I think they're going to pair really well with the fresh cranberries that we're going to put in for part of our batch. And then we're going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of allspice. Yes, I know. Apparently I didn't grab one of my open ones. Allspice is one of those spices that I feel like I buy every single year. And I have like 4 containers of it that have maybe like a teaspoon or 2 taken out of it. Okay. Smells yummy, doesn't it, buddy?
Yeah.
Oh, and then let's get a teaspoon of vanilla extract in here.
Sorry.
We'll mix that in nice and well.
Yeah.
And then we will add in our flour. And then we'll fold in our cranberries and walnuts. So 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Okay, ready, buddy?
Yeah.
There we go. And mix it around.
You had a question? What's Teddy's favorite meal?
What's your favorite meal, buddy? What's your favorite thing to eat? Banana muffins. Because that's what we're making right now. Let's see. Teddy, he likes noodles. So spaghetti or a pasta. He loves that.
Hot dogs.
He does. He really loves hot dogs. And I don't know where he got this love from hot dogs. It's probably from the cameraman because I do not like hot dogs. But this dude, he loves a hot dog, a corn dog. I mean, I think he was made for fair food, weren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Carnival food. Okay, good job mixing it in for me, buddy.
It makes it a little bit gooder.
It's going to make it taste better. Okay, now we are going to add in 1 cup of all-purpose flour. And again, we already have some from our discard in here, so we'll add a little bit more because it's so good. Scoop nicely. There we go. And then we're gonna mix it until it's just combined. We wanna be careful not to over mix because we wanna have a nice fluffy banana muffin. Now I'm going to scoop some out so we'll have some plain like Christmas spice banana muffins, and then we'll fold in some chopped walnuts and cranberries.
I like cranberries.
Yeah, you like cranberries. Here we go.
It's brown.
It is. It's nice and brown. That's from the cinnamon and the spices and the brown sugar. There we go. So we've got it fairly mixed up. I'm going to hold this one scoop around. Okay, bud?
Yeah.
Okay. So here is our base for our muffins. I'm going to slide this over here since we don't need that yet. You want to lick some? So we'll put in our muffin wrappers here because this is going to make about 12 muffins. Now this is like a slightly different variation than making a mess than my typical one because I am using the bananas, which adds already kind of a little fibrous base and moisture. So it's a little bit different than the one that I use with sour cream in it, but just as delicious. This is kind of my base for my pumpkin applesauce, persimmon muffins, kind of all work this way.
I like it.
Okay, let me grab a spoon. We're going to scoop up and we're going to make several without our walnuts and our cranberries. Because again, banana muffins are always a hit. And some of my kids are like, oh, you can't add anything to it. You got to keep it plain.
Not me, keep like.
No, not you. You like all the bougie stuff, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll fill these guys up.
Yeah, very well.
Fill it all the way up.
Mm.
So we're going to do 6 plain, and then we'll do 6 bougie. And these are going to bake in the oven at 350 for about 20 minutes. And they'll be delicious. Okay. Go through, give a little bit more to each one. And then we've got our cranberries. We've got about a half a cup of cranberries, fresh ones. If you want to use dried cranberries, just soak them in an orange juice, Sprite, or water for about 10 minutes and before you put them in. You want to dump these in for me, buddy?
Yeah.
Good job.
I love cranberries.
And then we're going to add in some walnuts.
Yeah, what?
And we're going to add in about a half a cup of walnuts as well.
What's that?
A couple little handfuls there.
What is it?
And then we're going to mix it up, kind of fold it in, toss it over. Again, we don't want to over mix it too much because we want them to be nice and fluffy.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we're going to fill these guys up
Yeah.
and we'll let them bake.
Yeah.
Fill it all the way up. And don't want to go too overboard on the cranberries because you cranberries like blueberries and other, the berries that kind of pop. If you put too many in, you're going to have more soggy muffins because there's just a lot of liquid content in it. These should be perfect. And I think the tartness is going to pair really well with the cloves and the cinnamon and the allspice. And then, of course, the crunch from the walnuts. Here we go. And then we'll go back over and we're going to even them out
Yeah.
for this. Okay, just a little bit more to go in each one. Okay. And this one's going to have a little hybrid on it because I've got a little batter there. And I'll just make sure it goes a little farther. Okay. Put one last cranberry in. Our bowl is all ready. We're ready to pop these in the oven at 350 for 20 minutes.
Oh, that was all.
Yeah, and it's gonna bake up. There we go. So we'll put them on our top rack. And since there's no streusel topping, both muffins should bake up relatively the same time on there. So actually, I'm gonna put my ones with the cranberries and the nuts towards the back, because if any takes a little bit longer, those will be the ones. So 20 minutes at 350. Let's get working on lunch here. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna turn our water up here and bring it to a boil. We will boil off our gnocchi in just a second and let that cook. Gnocchi cooks up really, really fast. It's a potato-based pasta, so it will be absolutely delicious. But while we're waiting for that water to bring to a nice boil, we are going to prep up our chicken.
I'm gonna be over here.
Yeah, do you want to be over here with me? Okay. And if you want to go play, buddy, you can go play and I can call you when the muffins are ready. Okay, you see, and I'll do it this way. I thought I could pick you up. You're too big now. We're going to chug it, chug it, chug it, chug it, chug it, all the way over here to be my helper.
I like them.
You like helping. Okay, we're going to make the dredge for our chicken. So we're going to do kind of an herby base to it, but we'll start off with 2 cups of all-purpose flour.
You don't know my legs that far.
Yes. Get that in here. And then we're going to season up our base here with some onion powder and herbs, bring a lot of flavor. And then when we do our second coating, we'll add in the panko breadcrumbs.
I do have a question. What does gnocchi taste like?
So it honestly tastes kind of like a pasta ball. It takes on really whatever flavors that you have, but it is a denser pasta, you know, because it's a little ball there. So it's kind of like, I want to say, you just had a blob of pasta. That's kind of what it tastes like. We're going to do about a tablespoon of onion powder.
Onion powder?
We're going to use, let's see what I'm going to use the rest of this. Got about a half a tablespoon of Mrs. Dash's table blend. And guess what? Our water is to a big boil now, so we're going to drop our gnocchi in. Let me grab some scissors here, since of course.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
going to move chugga, 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 chugga. And these do not take very long to cook up. They take about 3 minutes or so. But you'll know when they're done is when they all kind of come to the top. Now these are like the regular size. The mini ones will cook up even faster. But they'll start to bubble up to the top when they're done. You don't want to overcook them because they get mushy. And then we're going to use a little bit of this water in our pasta sauce. So we will sprinkle with a little bit of salt. That way it has a nice little flavor, but the starchy water will help kind of thicken up our pasta sauce.
Yeah. Over there.
Be my helper. We're gonna add in to our dredge, we're gonna add in about a half a tablespoon of oregano.
I think that random.
We're gonna do a half a teaspoon of black pepper. We're gonna do about a half a tablespoon of sage, because we're gonna use a bit of sage in our pasta sauce as well with the pumpkin, because those kind of will go well together, and so it'll just be lovely.
Yeah.
We're gonna use about a teaspoon of thyme. And then about a half a tablespoon of paprika, which will give it a nice kind of golden color when we fry it up, like a reddish amber color. And then last but definitely not least, we're gonna use our garlic salt, and we're gonna use about a tablespoon of garlic salt.
Need that.
Okay, let me grab a fork. We're gonna mix that up, and then we'll beat up our eggs.
It's really great.
It smells really good. Yeah, it'll be yummy. Okay. So we're gonna give this a nice stir and kind of mix it around. Make sure all of those herbs get mixed into it because again, when we're gonna be frying up our chicken, you want to make sure that you have it really well flavored because this is all that's really flavoring up that chicken. Okay. And then we have 3 eggs that we're gonna crack up and we'll beat and then we'll fillet our chicken. 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, we're cracking up the egg. And then our gnocchi should be ready to come out here in just a second. So let's get these whipped up real quick. Just you want to make sure your yolk gets mixed into the egg. There we go. There. And once, as long as you don't have any nice stringy pieces of egg white, then you're pretty good. You just don't want to be dredging it and then all of a sudden you pull up a big piece of egg white. Okay, that should be about good. Okay, so we've got ours mixed up there. Our gnocchi looks like it's boiling to the top here. You see if we can get some out of that foam underneath, but it's all kind of bubbling up to the top. That lets us know that it's done. So I'm going to turn off our heat, but before we strain it, I'm going to get a little bit of pasta water to reserve for our sauce. Now this isn't going to be quite as starchy as most pasta water, but it's better than none. And we'll mix a little bit of chicken bouillon with it to add flavor as well. But you can see it already has a little bit of starchiness to it. It's very kind of creamy in color.
White.
And here, now that it's kind of turned off, you can see all of our gnocchi is floating at the top of our little pan. Okay, I'm going to strain them, and then we'll let them just rest until we're ready to throw them into our pasta sauce. Just don't leave them in the water again. They'll get soggy if you do. And then a lot of times you can just toast them up with some butter in the skillet, but we're gonna make a sauce and we'll throw them in there. But let's get our chicken going. I'm gonna actually, before we start breading it, we are going to start frying up our chicken. I have so many bottles of olive oil to go through. Apparently I love to keep a drizzle of olive oil. Put that in the trash can for me, Teddy. Thank you. So we just want a thin enough layer on the bottom of our pan so that it kind of coats it up so that we can flip and fry it both ways. So we're gonna use up these small amounts, and now I have a lot more room in my liquid spice cabinet. Finally to a new one. There, you can throw this little piece away too for me, bud. There we go.
Liquid.
Okay, so just a nice kind of thin base layer on the bottom, because when we put our chicken in it, it will all rise up and it will coat it, and we cook it on both sides. So I'm going to turn my pan up to a high. That way it can start getting hot, and then when we fry it, we'll fry it over a medium heat. I'm going to get my panko breadcrumbs ready. And we're going to fillet our chicken in half. That way they'll be thinner and cook up faster. And it just gives a nice, more even fry to it. Make sure when you do it, try to cut against the grain, which will give you a kind of a rougher, coarser look on the inside.
Yeah.
But it's gonna make a more tender chicken because you are essentially cutting through and breaking up the fibers of the chicken. And that will make it nice and flavorful.
Yeah.
Cut off that piece of fat here.
Yeah.
There we go.
You have a question? What kind of oil?
So we're gonna fry them in olive oil because that's just kind of the oil I use for everything. And we're not gonna cook it at such a high temperature that we're gonna get to its burning or smoking point. I like to fry my food over a nice medium heat at 350 so that it stays nice and juicy. You don't burn your breading or whatnot. Okay, let's go and we're gonna do our first set of dredging, which is gonna go through the flour part. And this is our seasoned dredge. You wanna make sure it's nice and seasoned up so it has all of that flavor hitting the chicken the first time around.
Yeah.
Okay, but Mama's gonna touch these ones because this is raw chicken, so it's just gonna be me, okay, bud? And we're gonna coat this up nicely. And then, using our clean hand, after we've got them all done with their initial dredge, we are going to add panko breadcrumbs in. And then we will, once we get these starting to fry, we're gonna work on our sauce. And we're gonna use our pumpkin that we roasted up yesterday. So yesterday we roasted up both some buttercup squash and pumpkin. Pumpkin is a little bit less sweet and more mild than buttercup. So I wanted to kind of use that because I'm really kind of going in on some nice savory flavors.
And can you go over what seasonings in the flour?
Yes. So we started off with about a tablespoon of onion powder in here, a tablespoon of garlic salt, about a teaspoon and a half of Mrs. Dash's table blend, a half a teaspoon of black pepper, a half a tablespoon of paprika, a half a tablespoon of thyme, half a tablespoon of sage, and a half tablespoon of oregano. So lots of great kind of flavors in there, nice spiced up. And then we just added in some, make sure it's completely coated, some seasoned panko breadcrumbs, which gives a bit more of a crunch to it for that second coating. So we're just gonna make sure we pat it all down on here. And we've got our first round going, kind of feeling for the residual heat of my oil over here when I know it's at a good temperature to start dropping in our little cutlets here. Pat these guys up over the edge. We'll have them start kind of frying off. Are you trying to take off my apron, silly boy?
Tie it up.
Yeah. Okay, we'll coat these guys up. And again, make sure your dredge is well seasoned. It might seem like you have a whole bunch of spices in here, but to be honest, you need them. Otherwise, you'll have a bland chicken. So into the egg we go. And we'll coat it up. Here we go. 2 more left to go. Are you excited to have some fried chicken, Teddy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does it taste like?
You know. And we'll get this on, and one more, and then we're gonna test the heat of our oil. And the way I like to test the heat of the oil is I just take a teeny tiny drop of water and I plop it in there, and if it sizzles right away, I'll know that it's ready. And then I will turn my temperature down to a medium, and that's what we'll cook our chicken over on it. But it looks like it's nice and hot and ready because I'm already hearing a little bits of sizzles. And there we go. So I'm going to turn it down to about a 4.5, 5. And I'm going to get my little drop of water to test. Again, little teeny tiny drop. Sizzled right away so we know it's ready. So we're going to drop our chicken in. And I'm just going to do 3 at a time. We don't want to overcrowd it. There we go. And again, I turn my heat down to a medium temperature. Okay, I'm gonna go wash my hands and get ready for our next step. Okay. Perfect. Get our hands all washed up. We'll let those start frying over kind of our medium heat, and we're going to start working on our next component. Let me grab some tongs in here. And I'm gonna lie, so I left my chicken right in here. Silly me. Pop them on here. Silly me. Okay. I'm gonna scoot this up here, and then we're gonna start working on our pasta sauce. I'm gonna grab my pan over here. We're gonna turn it on to about, I'm gonna do around a medium, around a 5. We're gonna add a little bit of olive oil in here. And I've got an onion. We're gonna kind of dice up and start to kind of, we'll mince it up to kind of caramelize. Yeah, do you see our onion here? We're gonna kind of take off the whole top layer. And you just want a small onion. If you have a large onion, then just use half of it. This one was a pretty tiny one, so it will work well for it. And then we're gonna mince it up or make it, dice it fairly small, because I just want little bits of onion in our pasta, but I really want that flavor. It will be lovely.
Yeah, really lovely.
It will be really lovely. Are you a parrot?
No.
Can you go find a parrot?
Parrot toy?
Yeah, can you find a parrot toy? Okay. You got it nice and minced up here.
Really?
And we're going to toss that into our olive oil that we have warming up. There we go. And we're going to give this a nice little stir and kind of coat it up in that olive oil. Use a little bit of tongs. Whoops, slide that guy a little bit further. And we'll coat it up here. And then just make sure you've got that olive oil nice and coated on it. I'm going to take my warm pasta water over here, and we're going to mix a little bit of chicken bouillon in. So I'm going to get a spoon, because we're going to use that chicken bouillon with the pumpkin puree to really bring out those nice flavors, and then we'll add some food. So I'm going to do a good scoop, about, I want to say, a little less than a tablespoon, and we'll put it in here, kind of dilute up those flavors.
I said corn.
And you see corn? You want to go say hi to corn?
No,
No, not yet.
I like baking.
You like baking and cooking. Are you Chef Teddy? Okay. We've got it dissolved. That pasta water is nice and hot, so it's going to add, kind of help dissolve it up nicely. So we'll put it, we're going to reserve it right over here for when we make our sauce. Give ours nice little stir here. And then let's check on our chicken, see how it's cooking. Beautiful. We've got this nice kind of golden brown fry on it.
Ooh.
So we're going to flip it over. Beautiful. And let's get our last one. Perfect. We'll have that nice and sitting there. I'm going to grab a baking sheet out, and we're going to put a layer of paper towels down so that when we transfer the chicken out, it will soak up that extra grease, which will keep it nice and crispy. So double layer it so that you have, again, nice and kind of a crispy layer to it. How do you like? I didn't put my garlic out. I'm all out of my fresh kind of garlic cloves, so gotta use garlic, which is always good to use. You know, there's nothing wrong with it, but not as nice as garlic. So let me grab my garlic. We're gonna put some of this into our pasta sauce to give it a little bit more flavor. Get a spoon. And we're going to add in about a tablespoon of our garlic here. So we'll get a good amount. And we're going to let it toast up. Now garlic will toast up and crisp up a lot faster than freshly minced, so just be careful not to burn it. We're gonna mix it in, give it a little bit of that heat. Already smells wonderful. And then for our spices, I'm gonna lean primarily on sage and thyme for this. We're gonna put them in here with the garlic and the onions, kind of bring out their flavor first before we put in our pumpkin puree. I'm gonna use about a whole teaspoon of dried sage. And then we're gonna use about a half a teaspoon of thyme. If you wanna use fresh, you're gonna need to use probably a fourth of a cup of fresh sage to get that flavor on there because it's not quite as strong. I'm gonna toast it up. And then we're gonna go grab our muffins out of the oven. So I'm gonna turn this down nice and low while we step away from it. Slide this right over here. Is Teddy ready to come see the muffins?
Yeah.
Okay. We got our very excited muffin boy. Ready, buddy? Okay. Remember, nice and hot, so step back. So here, I'm gonna give them a nice tap. Beautiful, nice and firm on the top. And then, so our first ones are just regular kind of Christmas spiced banana muffins with cloves, cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice. And then for our second batch, we added walnuts and cranberries. As you can see, the pop of that red just is so pretty on them. To add just another unique kind of flavor to it. And again, we have our half a cup of our sourdough discard in here, so they're going to be just full of flavor. And just a fun twist on, I feel like, a banana bread that is just always, doesn't get that many fun twists to it, but I feel like it can really work well. Okay, we've got our sage and our thyme and our garlic all crisping up in here.
You have a request for Chef Jack?
Oh, Chef Jack would probably not be safe in the kitchen. Chef Jack does not listen well. Maybe in 2 years. Chef Jack is more of a tasting chef. He can be afterwards. He is chaos. I actually had to rearrange some of the furniture in my house because he kept opening up the fish tank and dropping his toys in it. So I was like, okay, we've got to find a way for him not to reach the fish tank. I love Chef Jack, but Chef Jack is very naughty. He embodies the terrible twos. Yeah, Chef Teddy, is he better?
Yeah.
Okay, so yesterday we roasted up a pumpkin, like a pie pumpkin. We baked it. And so this is my pie pumpkin puree. And we're going to put in about a cup of this into our pan, and we're going to let it kind of season up. So it's a little bit thicker than actual, I will say, like a canned pumpkin to it. And its flavor is a little bit more mellow, but I think it works really well, especially with savory foods. So we also baked up buttercup squash, which buttercup squash, not butternut, it's a different one, but it is a more reddish brown, like it's definitely more orange, burnt orange color. This is more lighter in the coloring, but it's a lot sweeter. So pumpkin is just gonna work nicer with this because it just fits that savory flavor a little bit better. But we're gonna kind of mash it around, kind of, do you see how it's kind of picking up some of those spices at the bottom of it? We want this to heat up just a little bit on its own, and then we're gonna add in our chicken bouillon that we mixed into our starchy water for it. But I think our first round of chicken is ready to be taken out here. There we go. Beautiful, nice golden brown. You want to put it oil side down so that it soaks up that grease here. Beautiful. And again, we use both sage and thyme in our spice blend, so we should have those flavors also kind of hitting in the chicken as it hits into the pasta as well.
You have a question? You have so much counter space. Did you design it?
I did design my kitchen. So about 2 years ago, a little more than 2 years ago, because it happened right before Jack was born. I was like 6 months pregnant with Jack. But our kitchen, we had a very small kitchen before. If you can see, we have a beam here. That was one wall, and then right above where we're cooking is a beam. That was my kitchen, this tiny little square. And we woke up, it was the day before the new school year started, and we had water coming out from underneath our cabinets. And that's the worst thing that happened. So as the water is flooding out into our things, flooding into our dining room, into our living room, we get an emergency plumber over, and they're like, oh yeah, the only way we can fix this leak is we have to rip out your cabinets and your backsplash. So then you gotta call insurance, and I know, all insurance, everything like that. But lo and behold, they're like, take it out, we cover it. We have it ripped out, we find we have mold behind there because it was a very slow leak that built up over time until it finally cracked through the pipes and everything. And so, new kitchen it was, and then I said, well, if we're doing all the work, let's not replace it with what we have. Let's make our kitchen that we actually want. So we took out 2 walls, and then I said I need lots of counter space because I had no counter space before. So I have lots. This is like 10 feet, and I think this is like 18 feet of counter space. So it is wonderful. And I have managed to fill it all up. I went doubled my kitchen size, and yet I still have it completely full of stuff and stuff outside. Okay, we've got our pumpkin puree here. We're slowly adding in our bouillon and our starchy water here. So we'll do a little bit at a time. We're gonna mix it up. As you see, it thickens it, which really just is gonna give a great flavor. That chicken flavor with that sage and thyme and the pumpkin is just gonna work really well. We're gonna add a little bit of cream at the end as well and some Parmesan, but we're gonna add this in first. Don't just dump it all in at one time, little by little to kind of incorporate it, because if you need to add less, you can't take it out if you've already dumped it out. Oh, you want to come over onto this side? Okay, let Mama help you. Chef Teddy needs to be in the whole cooking thing. There we go. I mean, you were the inspiration for our muffins today. Yes. Teddy always, he helps me make banana donuts a lot for breakfast. He loves to help cook.
You need a bit of that.
Yes. I can see you have some of the banana batter all over your face. Okay, we've got our whole starchy water mixed in here. And now we're gonna go in, and I'm gonna give it a little bit of taste, knowing that we're gonna still be adding Parmesan and cream. So it should be a little bit stronger in flavor than our final flavor. But perfect, we don't need anything else. We'll let that simmer for just a second. And let's get our cream and our Parmesan. So we'll do cream first. So we've got we're gonna start with about 1/4 of a cup. You don't need a whole lot to give you that nice creamy flavor. It comes in really well. So I always say, use half the amount of cream that you think you're gonna use in a dish, because a little goes a long way. You can see how much it's already changed the color of our sauce. And it's just going to be absolutely wonderful. Beautiful. And then before we have our sauce, we add our cheese in it. I forgot I wanted to add in some spinach. With the spinach, it's gonna wilt down in the sauce because there's enough liquid to it. Add a little bit of greenness. Baby spinach works the best because you don't have to chop it up. The leaves are little. I'm gonna add about a nice handful here. It's gonna wilt down. That's about 2 cups of baby spinach on it. You my helper.
Yeah.
You should have gotten your apron out. They've got these cute little Christmas aprons at IKEA when we were in Atlanta. You'll have to get it out so you can be Chef Teddy all the way.
All day.
All day. We've got our spinach in here.
Yeah.
We're gonna mix it. I'm gonna grab, guess what? I know I have it right over here. Here's Chef Teddy. We gotta officially crown him Chef Teddy here. You got an apron just like Mama.
That's cute.
Yours is cute. It's perfect for you. It's the perfect size. See?
That's cute.
You're so cute. He knows it. Okay, thank you, Chef Teddy. Now you're officially ready.
And I get dirty more.
You're not gonna get dirty, that's right. We're gonna flip over our chicken. Again, we've got this nice kind of golden fry on it. And I love the paprika that we added in as the spice thing is giving it this nice reddish color. It adds a great bit of savory flavor, but again, just this lovely reddish flavor. And we are almost ready here. We're before, let me turn this up just a smidge. We're gonna add in our Parmesan a little bit now, and then of course we'll finish it off with it.
Jenny sent you a gift.
Well, thank you, Jenny. We appreciate that. Can you say thank you, Jenny? Good job. See, Chef Teddy's the best, you say. Okay, we added in about, I want to say maybe a fourth a cup of Parmesan. We're going to mix it in, let it melt up. Then we're going to toss in our gnocchi. And then when we plate it, we'll add some more. But you don't need a whole lot of Parmesan to get you that nice flavor as well. But again, that pumpkin with that sage and that thyme is just going to be lovely. Perfect. Turn that down. Okay. And I have my sauce again over a nice low temperature. We're going to drop our gnocchi in. Don't worry if it's stuck together. Once it hits that sauce, it's going to break apart.
Yeah.
And we're going to coat it up. There we go. And you could use any pasta, but I was like, gnocchi just had this box looking at me all day, and I was like, I'm going to do something with it. Beautiful.
I'm really cute.
You are really cute.
And so humble.
And very humble. Are you modest?
I'm cute with that.
You're cuter than Jack. You can see the sibling rivalry already going. You know, Teddy was our child after, so we had, you know, Lena, Torrin, and Evie, and they're 15, 13, and 10. So they're all close in age. And then there's Teddy. So we had him, and he's 4. And so he was this little king all by himself for a while. And then I was like, oh, he needs a sibling his age. So now we have Jack. But I think Teddy enjoyed being himself for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, our sauce is off. Our chicken over here is almost done frying. So let's get a plate up and get ready to serve up. So I'm going to scoot you over just a little bit more this way, buddy. Are you ready? Take it. That way I can clean this area up. Let's get our muffins over. And we're going to get ready to serve up lunch. Are you excited?
Yeah. You excited?
I'm excited, Teddy. I love gnocchi. Okay, let's grab our cutting board. And check our chicken real quick. Seems to be cooking up nicely. Just about a minute or 2 longer. Grab a plate. And then I'll get my Parmesan open, just flake a little bit over at the end. With that chicken. Let's see how these are looking. Beautiful, nice golden brown. So we're going to put these onto our paper towel here. Again, remember, put your greasy side down so it can soak it up and keep your chicken nice and crispy. Okay, let's get ready to serve up. Let me see if I can find, I'm going to scoot you just a little bit, bud. Got my shovel. We're ready to go. We're ready to rock and roll. Scooch it. Okay. For lunch today, we have our gnocchi pasta in a Parmesan cream sauce with pumpkin puree, spinach, garlic, thyme, and sage. And we will serve that with a cutlet of our thyme and sage fried chicken with a panko breadcrumb. So those flavors in the pasta will marry in well with the chicken. And then of course, as a nice little sweet treat for dessert, we have our cranberry walnut banana muffins spiced with cinnamon, allspice, cloves, and nutmeg for just a nice kind of Christmassy, delicious flavor. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I try to do live cooking shows every single day so we can show you what we're making for our family and hopefully teach you guys something along the way. Again, we do upload all of our videos to the link on our page. That's right. You want one with cranberries? Okay. So we can, you can always look for what we cook. We also have a link to our Amazon storefront with all of our different cooking gear and gadgets. I've got my all-clad pans, my hex-clad, my knives, my cutting board, all the different things in there for you guys to check out. But again, thank you so much for joining us here. Don't forget to like and subscribe.